So the materials for them to be a self-directed learner is giving them the opportunity to be self-directed. We talk a lot about our GLOs. I give them the time to practice and have them, do things independently. We take that baby steps, like in the beginning of the year, they do one step. So right now, you got to see this is kind of like the end of the year, the middle of the year, so they can do it all independently. But a lot of the materials are one of the really, really important things is modeling. So teacher modeling and even student modeling. So I'll have students model how to do it correctly or incorrectly. And so they're learning from each other, and then they're kind of measuring, like, is what I'm doing, is what's being expected, so they can see how I did it. So they can measure their own abilities as opposed to mine and see where they measure up. I think when I chose this lesson, I thought about when I was learning to be a teacher, and I thought about, how do people get 25 kindergartners, 25 5-year-olds to be independent enough where you can kind of step away and take role or deal with a behavior problem or talk to a parent. You can see I had a parent come in and want to talk to me, and if my students were not self-directed and independent and they didn't have that routine in the morning, they would all be, coming up to me, talking to me, and I wouldn't have that opportunity to talk to the parent or take role. So them having that routine of doing the same thing every single day, and they know the steps and they know what's expected of them, helps build that confidence with them too. I think simple things is like, oh, I have a paper for you, and having a spot to put the paper, like, oh, go put that in my mailbox if it's a field trip form, so then I'm not collecting 25 papers. It's, having that resource there that you don't really think about, but like, oh, I need to have somewhere in case they have a paper to give me. So I found even just having that mailbox is a good tool for them to help them be independent and give the teacher time to do things that need to be done in the morning, especially things that you don't predict, or that, a kid's crying because they miss their mom, or they're having a rough day, or a parent comes in, pizza orders, and all that stuff. I like that it builds a sense of community in my classroom. I think you could consider our morning meeting like the circle as a material, and that practice of saying good morning to each and every one of their friends, that practice of sharing of what they have to say is important. I think those are important, that they need to feel valued, and they need to know that whatever they say, their friends will be listening. And I think if they're building those listening and speaking skills when they're 5 years old, and then think about what they can achieve when they're older and they have more time to develop mentally and experiences, and then they won't have those confidence issues with listening and speaking, and they'll be able to talk about more complex, more deep topics. No, but I think there's a lot of changes throughout the year. So when we start out, it's a lot of, just practicing. We're going to say everybody's name. We're going to, everybody says everybody's name. We learn our names. So I think it builds on each other, and it changes, and it depends on the group too, what group of kids you have. So, we start out our morning meeting and we practice, and we do it every morning. So, and we build on it. And I think one of the important things is those safe circle rules. So you heard one little boy say, oh, but our circle is safe. And then I said, well, is it safe even though the cameras aren't here? And they're like, yeah. So this safe circle is intellectually safe, so they feel safe sharing. But that takes a while to build that. So, and that changes throughout the year too. So we start out talking about maybe not as complex topics, and then we start moving into more complex topics. So it will change. I don't think I would change anything about the specific lesson today, but it's kind of that, the way it builds on that scaffolding, the way it builds on each other, and how they can grow as thinkers, and also how they grow with their behaviors and their routines. Because in the beginning, they can't sit there for that long. They can't sit and listen. So it grows and it changes as they grow and change, and as they have more experience with school. I mean, it's all relevant because it's listening and speaking, it's everyday conversation skills, and it's also, thinking complexly, and that concept of being able to question and being able to wonder. So today our conversation kind of went, well, he said sunny was bad weather. Well, is sunny bad weather? And then you kind of hear them, I asked them, well, he thought this and I thought this. Like, our opinions are different. Is that okay? Yeah, so it's like so many lessons into one. Like that idea of we're accepting other people's differences. It's okay to, agree to disagree. It's okay to be different, but we're still listening. And those are life skills. Those are skills people need for their jobs, their everyday lives, no matter what field of work you're in, as well as the conversation skills, how to have a conversation. And the simple things as making eye contact. When you say good morning, you have to make eye contact. So that's a skill that we assume that everybody knows, but really we have to teach it if we expect them to do it. So.